this time, I would like to introduce our state superintendent, Michael Simmons. He's a graduate of Georgetown University, Kansas University School of Law, and Boston University School of Law. His professional background spans a variety of positions, including but not limited to Assistant Attorney General, Director of the Governor's Legislative Office, Undersecretary of Education, Secretary of Education, and Senior Education Advisor to the Governor, all in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. In addition, Mr. Simmons has served as a regional representative with the United States Department of Education in Washington, D.C., representing New England, and as a consultant on education policy and improvement. Mr. Simmons.
Thank you, and good evening. It's always good to see, these teachers of the year. Every day when I go to work, I go past all these pictures of these people, and I come to find out there's actually people, life size, not just the 8x10, photo. So I want to thank everybody for coming out. This is a great day for the state of Alabama. We have great teachers in the state of Alabama, and we need to understand that teachers in large ways and small make an important impact on children's lives. One of the things that I got Dr. Sibley in our office to do is to reach out to people and try to find some people who would be notable and well-known in the state to talk to them about the teachers that impacted their lives and gave them the motivation, gave them inspiration to be the people that they are today. And if you go out there, you may have seen some of those posters that our office developed, and those were the people that changed their lives. And one of those people was Governor Ivey, and she talked about Mr. Hickey and the work that he did to both, instruct and inspire. And that's the power of teaching. That's the power of all of this, because it's not a simple task. It's a terribly, terribly complex task. But when you reach the heart of a student and you motivate them and you inspire them, then we have a successful educational program. And we have many, many people in our state who are doing that, and we're blessed to have a cadre of people representing them as well as their own representing their own work to help us understand all of this terribly important work that they're doing. I'm a little bit confused here. Do I bring you back, or do I come back?
I'll be happy to come back.
Okay.
Lest we get too far away from it, you'll notice I have 8 wonderful people on this side of me and 8 wonderful people on this side. I'm not saying that y'all are. Or you are wonderful. But they are the 16 district finalists. These are the elementary teachers from District 1 through 8. These are the secondary teachers from 1 through 8. Not all of you got the privilege to read their applications, which are exhaustive and intensive, but really, really inspirational. And so I'm honored to be with them. But right now I'd like to recognize a few people. So if you could, with the state school board members, could you rise for me and be recognized? You do such important work and so important to our state and to our educators. You're all by yourself, right, sitting on your side. I would like to see all the local boards of education. Could you stand, please? Anybody on a board of education local? Okay. The local superintendents. Anybody from any superintendent? Could you please say thank you? Principals. Any principals here this evening? This was my old high school. Anybody who is a teacher of the year or an alternate teacher of the year, would you please rise? As they say, John Quam, who is was the past director of the CCSSO, which is the umbrella organization of the Teacher of the Year organization, he said, once you were a teacher of the year, you were always a teacher of the year. I introduced myself once as a former Alabama Teacher of the Year, and I heard about it for the next 30 minutes, so I am the 2009 Alabama Teacher of the Year. Milken educators. Any Milken? Any Milken? Anybody who is their local Teacher of the Year from the school or district? Okay. State Department of Education staff. These are people who you never see. Can you all stand? You're all in the back. I know where you are. I had no idea what happened when I was made Teacher of the Year, what they do for us, and how important they are to support educators, teachers, and systems. It's a remarkable job that they do, and they're never honored except you stand here. Education-related organizations. Anybody from any education-related organization? Alabama Education. There we are. District judges. Anybody who was a district judge for the Teacher of the Year process this year? Anybody? Some of you, if you were, stand. There you go. If you were a state level judge. State level judge? Jackie Ziegler, I know, stand up. She represented the board on the state level in the selection process to select the final four and the alternate Teacher of the Year and the Teacher of the Year. So we're happy to have her on with us this year. She was wonderful. It was wonderful to meet her and to work with her. Now I would like to take this opportunity. It's a very great honor for me to be able to introduce our current Teacher of the Year for the next couple of minutes. But she continues her duties on for the rest of the year. Really for the rest of this calendar year, she will be a State Teacher of the Year on the national level, has many activities that she has to do. She has done an incredible job for us on every capacity. She's kept her job pretty much full-time at Clay Chalkville High School. She is a wonderful, wonderful teacher, dear, dear friend that I've gotten to know this year. I met her years ago. We lost contact with each other, and when she was selected last year, we got to reconnect, and I got to work with her. And I'm very impressed with what she does. She's represented the state of Alabama admirably. All teachers and educators should be very pleased that we selected Dana Jacobson, the 2016-2017 Teacher of the Year.
Wow, after that introduction, I think I better sit down. Teachers don't do that, do we? Okay, so, let's see if my technology works.
It's there.
Yes, there it is. Okay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so delighted to be here and to have this opportunity to reflect on my year as the 2017 Alabama Teacher of the Year. I am even more honored to celebrate along with you these outstanding teachers and their extraordinary accomplishments. I don't know about you, but when Roy said, let's look at these teachers on the stage, I felt that fluttering, you know, because I'm so honored to be celebrating great teachers in our state. I would like for you to help me for a moment. Some slides will come up and we'll refer to them as we go through, but I would like for you to help me for just a moment. I would like for you to stand, everybody stand. And on the count of 3, I would like for you to do something. I want you to cheer wildly. When I step back in front of the microphone, you may let your cheering stop and sit back down. But do you have any questions? I had to ask that because I am a teacher. So, 1, 2, 3. Teachers. Didn't that feel good? Got the blood flowing? And we need to do this more often. Okay. Y'all were absolutely wonderful. And this is what we need. We need this kind of celebration of teachers every single day. What every teacher needs to feel is appreciation. We know that students need a caring teacher in order to grow and flourish. Teachers need caring and nurturing too. And in times like these, we must be intentional in how we as a community celebrate teachers and how we as teachers nurture one another and care for ourselves and our colleagues. At any time that we can show we care, we need to do it. We cannot take this process for granted. So here's challenge, that was challenge number 1, find ways to celebrate teachers. I was interviewed on Monday, and the videographer told me about his son's teacher, a first-year teacher, who's had quite a difficult year. I implored the videographer to write the teacher a letter and encourage his son to do so as well. It could make the difference in that teacher's giving up or continuing on. Teachers, find ways to celebrate your students and connect that celebration as much as you can to learning. Find that joy. Let your enthusiasm be contagious. Every day we should find the joy implied in the poet Mary Oliver's question, tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Last year at this awards reception, I said that the Teacher of the Year process had felt to me like being on a roller coaster. And if you know me well, then you know that I do not like roller coasters. But when my children were little, I breathed in deeply because I knew I was going to have to make that sacrifice for my children. I calmed myself down and I rode those roller coasters because I wanted my children to have that experience. Becoming the Alabama Teacher of the Year has been that kind of experience. Thrilling, sometimes scary, but constantly pushing my comfort zone. But I have gradually become accustomed to the thrill of the ride into the journey. Being outside my classroom has taught me so much, so let me share a few things I've learned. Number 1, as the 2016 Alabama Teacher of the Year, Jennifer Brown emphasizes, teachers can learn so much by simply opening their doors and seeing what is going on just next door or down the hall. Number 2, similarly, we can develop professionally by opening our doors and allowing our colleagues in to see what we are doing, and by inviting the community in whenever we can to make lessons more engaging and to be transparent to the community. Number 3, one colleague shared with me the idea of externships. Teachers spending 4 to 6 weeks in the summer in a job related to their content areas to gain real-world experience. Imagine that kind of professional development. Number 4, we teachers need layers and layers and layers of support from the beginning to the end of our careers. Number 5, morale, culture, and climate are 3 major pieces of the puzzle. And to succeed, we must address these critical pieces if learning outcomes and teacher retention are to improve. Number 6, a visionary and an empowering principal and superintendent can change the course of a school. We need to grow our leadership through collaboration by sharing best practices. And here's number 7, double check addresses. I told the superintendent last week, I had to go to Georgia to get to you. I discovered that Calhoun County, Georgia is actually different from Calhoun County, Alabama. Challenge number 2, venture outside and bring the outside in. As the Alabama Teacher of the Year, I have been pushed out of my comfort zone almost on a daily basis. All teachers need to have opportunities to stretch themselves, to prepare maybe for a soundbite. It's a great reflective process. And to give speeches to encourage future teachers and to advocate for the profession. This stretching is what provides the opportunities for creativity and the coalescing of new ideas. Soundbite. Challenge number 3, get outside your comfort zone. Okay. If you are related to an educator on the stage, I would like for you to stand up. Related to an educator on the stage? Great. Okay. Stay standing. If you have an educator in your family, please stand. Anyone in the room who has an educator in your family, stand. If you are support staff or an administrator, please stand. If you work at the Alabama State Department of Education, please stand. If you are a board member or a sponsor of the Alabama Teacher of the Year program, or a legislator, please stand. If you are the governor of Alabama, please stand. Keep standing, and on everyone in the room, on the count of 3, I want us to celebrate these supporters of education even more loudly than we did before. 1, 2, 3. You may be seated. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. As a teacher, I know that it truly does take a village, and each family member and each support person in this room knows that too. My children, my mother, my sister, my Clay Chapel High School family, they've all supported me and made sacrifices so that I could dive deeply and broadly into the work of teaching. That doesn't come without consequences, so we appreciate what each and every one of you sacrifices on behalf of us and on behalf of all the students whose lives we affect. Whew. Okay, we couldn't do it without you, so we appreciate every sacrifice. Okay, challenge number 4. We need to find ways to elevate the teaching profession. Maybe it's through gratitude. We could use a little bit of that. Maybe it's through social media. We've got to find ways to support our colleagues. Teachers, we must commit to mentoring new teachers to sustain, grow, and retain them. This simply cannot be done in 1 year, and it cannot be done superficially. Perhaps we should encourage all teachers to pursue doctorates, to be models of lifelong learning. That might help elevate our profession. We have to tell the stories ourselves that need to be told of all the wonderful things going on in our classroom. If we don't tell our story, someone else will, and as the saying goes, it may not be the story that we want told. As a person who has retreated inside her classroom many times, because that's what I could control, I need to frequently remind myself of John D. Rockefeller's words. Next to doing the right thing, the most important thing is to let people know you're doing the right thing. Okay, so looking forward, challenge number 5, accelerate change. At the beginning of the year, the hashtag I used most frequently was ripple effect. The small changes that lead to other changes, which lead to other changes, and so on. But as I look forward, I will use the hashtag accelerate change. I have so many ideas I want to implement. I already feel my principal getting a bit nervous. But I've begun the conversations, and I've started to get support. But this year has taught me one very important lesson, and that is that I will not let anybody else extinguish my fire or extinguish my passion for education. My eyes have been open to so many wonderful things and to those that are absolutely intolerable. I'm committed to fighting for students, for all students, and for all teachers so that we can go about this business of improving our world. It has been such a pleasure and an honor, a gift and a privilege to serve as the Alabama Teacher of the Year. And I want you to join me once again in congratulating all the teachers and educators in this room. Okay, and now we would like to recognize the 16 district finalists, both the secondary and the elementary district Teachers of the Year. Oh, before that, first I would like to introduce Don Davis, the 2016-2017 Elementary Teacher of the Year, the alternate Teacher of the Year from Montana, Magnet, and
Thank you. What an exciting year it has been this year. I have thoroughly enjoyed visiting with fellow educators, future teachers, and the many education advocates across this great state. It has been wonderful and very eye-opening. There is not a greater purpose to reach across our aisles hand in hand than to strive for student success in our state. We are blessed with wonderful teachers, fabulous administrators, and great state department leaders with a true passion for student learning. Thank you for allowing me to share just a small part of your success and helping me grow as a fellow educator. Thank you.
And now we would like to recognize the 16 district finalists for Alabama Teacher of the Year. From District 1, Secondary Teacher of the Year, Nikki Minoso from Daphne High School, Baldwin County School System.
Can you hear me? Don't judge me for this piece of paper. We were asked to explain to you why we love teaching, and I'm going to try to ad-lib, but I do need a little structure. When I was asked that question, I immediately thought of all the reasons why I became a teacher, and I listed this huge list of all of the teachers who inspired me and my friends who inspired me. But when it came down to why I love teaching, it's because of my kids, my students. They're our kids. So, this is it. When Madeline improved her ACT score this year by 8 points because I made her memorize comma rules, it was a really good day. When Will and Carter's essays won them the opportunity to travel to Montgomery as well as to Washington, D.C. this summer, it was a really good day. When Haley earned qualifying scores on all 5 of her AP exams last spring, it was a really good day. When I finally convinced Rashad, who is very shy and very unconfident, or incompetent, that he is actually a wonderful thinker and a great literary analyst, it was the best day. And when Liv, who I thought would become an English major, told me how much she loves chickens because of her agriculture class at our school, I was really excited and it was a great day. And yesterday, when Cortland, who told me he hated me last year, made his way to my room right before he left because he's graduating, it was a really great day. I love teaching because really every single day is a great day. There are bad moments. We get horrible emails and sometimes we have difficult moments. But every day I feel so blessed to do what I do. Some identify teaching as a science, some identify it as an art. Others, really, I think we all agree it's a gift. To serve children is an honor, and to be surrounded by their energy, joy, and determination. And hope is a treasure that is absolutely unmatched. Thank you.
Next, we proudly introduce District 1 Elementary Teacher of the Year, Chasity Collier, from Dawes Intermediate School in Mobile County School System. And Chasity is one of our finalists for our Teacher of the Year, so we will hear more about her later.
I would like to now introduce the District 2 Secondary Teacher of the Year, Emily Sasser Sassano, Benjamin Russell High School, Alexander City School System. Emily is a finalist, and you will see a video later in the program.
We're also proud to recognize our District 2 Elementary Teacher of the Year, Charlotte Dean Hartley, from Montana Street Magnet School in the Dothan City School District. And we also will hear more from Charlotte Hartley later in the program because she is also one of our finalists.
I am pleased to announce District 3 Secondary Teacher of the Year, Paul McEwen from Hoover High School, Hoover City School System. And Paul will be, as a finalist for Teacher of the Year, and you will also see a video of him later in the program.
We proudly introduce District 3 Elementary Teacher of the Year, Amy Reeves Brooks, from Indian Valley Elementary School in the Sylacauga City School System.
You know, I'm just, I'll probably start crying already, but just so humbled to be here. You know, when I look on this stage, you know, I won't forget when I got that call about the finalists, and you know, you start Googling, and we've already, you know, half of us are friends on Twitter, and you know, I got through about 4 of them, and I was like, wow, I am closing the computer because I am out of my league. Because I just look at this stage and I'm just in awe of everything that all of you have accomplished. And you know, I think I'm not really a professional. I just really love what I do. I love the smiles on my friends' faces. I love walking in the classroom every day. You know, I hear you talk about ACT scores and graduation, and you know, I teach pre-K for those of you that don't know, so I'm the very beginning. And I have the privilege of instilling in these children a love of learning, a love of school, where school's a safe place and a safe place that they want to come and that they're excited to be a part of every day. So I thank you for this honor, and I wouldn't be up here without my family and of course my friends, because they're the rock stars, not me, but thank you.
Representing District 4 Secondary Teacher of the Year, Natalie Ann Roy, Paul W. Bryant High School, Tuscaloosa City School System.
Good morning, or evening. Oh, see, look, my day is teaching and my brain is already fried. But when I was asked why I became a teacher, I have so many things that go in my mind. My grandfather, one who was an educator, and the stories he would tell me of all the great stuff that he did for kids. But really the reason I became, because I wanted to be my grandfather in schools. I wanted to provide kids with opportunities to know that they are loved, that they care, that someone's there for them. I tend to try and go to every type of sporting event or any type of event that's going on at the school, because sometimes when you just have to look in a crowd and see one person that you know, it's going to make the difference for them. And I teach art, so everyone loves to say that I'm the fun room, or I'm the room that they can do anything with creativity. And I just tell them my room's not a room, it's a sanctuary for them. You come in, that door closes, everything outside that door is non-existent in my room. There's no judgments, nothing. And to me, when I see their eyes after I teach them something or show them how something's easy, that's my rewarding part. And when they do walk across that stage, because my kids will graduate, that's the moment that I care the most, and that's what cherishes my whole year. So it makes, I'm always emotional on graduation, so they always avoid me because they don't want to cry themselves. But I just want to say thank you to my husband. We got married during this process, and so it was one of those where he's learning with me. But, and I also want to thank my principal, my fellow teachers in my district, because if it wasn't for them, I would not have the support of all the activities I do and all the projects. And of course, my system, go Tuscaloosa City School. Thank you.
We proudly introduce District 4 Elementary Teacher of the Year, Dr. Tara Michelle Foster from Brighton Middle School in the Jefferson County School System.
Good evening. I am so thankful to be among such excellent teachers. To me, teaching is like the principle of sowing and reaping. And I am here only because of what was sown into me. First of all, to God for giving me this gift. To my parents, right back there, who first worked with me on teaching me how to read and the math that I struggled with that I teach right now. To my sister, who was part of my first classroom in our bedroom that we shared, along with our teddy bears and stuffed animals. To my long family history of being teachers. I thank my district and my principal who's back there with me today for giving me the chance to do what I love to do, and that is planting the seeds and fostering the future. Everything we're doing right now is to make a difference in the future to come. Our babies are our future teachers and our leaders, and I'm so thankful that I get a chance to do what I love every single day. Thank you so much for honoring me and my fellow co-workers in this mission that we're on today. Thank you so much.
Representing District 5 Secondary Teacher of the Year, Monica Felicia Lee Pontu, Bullitt County High School, Bullitt County School System.
Thank you. I am a product of Bullitt County School System. I graduated class in 1996. I am an educator because it's a calling from God. I am because of Him. Every day I go in my classroom, I go with the mission that my children are also going to be taught by someone. And I want the same thing for my students that I want for my children. And for my grandson who's been keeping noise all day long. I am fortunate enough to be able to teach in the school system where the children want to learn. Not every day, but they want to learn, and I thank God for it. Every lesson I prepare for my students is with their future in mind. Yes, I could pick the stories I like to read, the stories that I want to know so much about, but I pick the ones that I know that are going to help them with their college careers or their careers of their children or whatever they plan to do with their lives. I know that all of them won't go to college. Some of them want to go straight to work. And for that reason, I plan everything with their whole life in mind. Even the ones that plan on going to college and maybe one day going to work after college. That's why I cover resume writing, how to write cover letters, how to interview. I must they know everything they need to know before they leave my classroom. Because I don't get a call back. I can't say I need you to come back to high school next year because I didn't quite cover everything this year. No, this is my final call with you, so I gotta make sure it's the best call I can possibly do. And yes, I talk fast. I talk fast every day. By week number 2, you'll be used to it. You won't even notice it. I really think it's a blessing. I thank you guys so much for even selecting me to be a number 16 finalist. So it's a blessing by itself. And I really thank you guys very much. And I thank my children for supporting me in everything that I do. And God bless you all.
We proudly recognize District 5 Elementary Teacher of the Year, Jeannie Allen, from Pike Road School in the Pike Road City School System.
I have to echo, these are amazing teachers back there. They're cheering me on. They're going, go Jeannie. And as teachers, we need that, especially when we find out kind of short notice that we're going to be speaking to y'all. They knew to do that because they knew we would all be crying. I think the reason I became a teacher is certainly not why I'm one today. My mother said when I was little that she could go to the grocery store. It was a kinder, gentler time. And she said she could stand me at the school supply area and do all her grocery shopping. And she said I would never move. To this day, I'm a kindergarten teacher, and I still love when school supplies are put out in August. There was a period of time I was home, but you would still find me walking through looking for Sharpies and crayons because I just knew I needed to hold a pack. But why I'm a teacher today became very well known to me when a student gave me a framed picture of the house of George Wythe, and it said on the back, "Thank you for shaping Henry's life and his future." And I taught kindergarten, and sometimes as a kindergarten teacher, you really don't see that far ahead. You're just trying to see through lunch and recess and home. And so I read the back, and it was a bio, and it said that he was the father of our founding fathers of our nation. And it talked about how he was the teacher of many, oh, I'm so sorry. I'll get it together. He was a teacher of the founding fathers of the Declaration of Independence. Many became president of our great nation. And I thought, yeah, that's why I teach. I teach to provide a hope and a future. And our Father says it's what He gives us. And I was a child who needed a hope and a future. And I'm so thankful that He used education to do that. He blessed me with a husband who is the most fantastic teacher assistant. Thank you, husbands, for doing that. He blessed me with children who allowed me to go to other children's games and sacrifice their time. He has blessed me with principals who took a chance on me. I was a young teacher, and I was a teacher who came back after being gone for a while, and I was old, and they took a chance on me. And I had a superintendent who recently looked at me, and she dared me to teach differently than I've ever taught before. And now I have parents who have joined me. No longer are they just people I look at to be room moms or to do great parties. They are there invested with me to provide a hope and a future. Thank you so much for this opportunity. It's been awesome. And I love every one of y'all. I don't even know you. I'm not on Facebook, but I'm thinking about doing it just so I can get to know you guys. Thank you all.
We would now like to recognize District 6 Secondary Teacher of the Year, Mickey Waffler Gibbs, Arab Junior High School, Arab City School System.
First off, I'm just very thankful for this calling that God has placed on my life.
I'm also thankful for the strength he gives to do it, because I cannot do it on my own. I have been humbled and honored the last few weeks of who all I've gotten to talk to, from family and friends and fellow educators, former students, current students, parents of students, my mentors and teachers who have reached out to me, and just to think about what all these people have done, and they are a part of who I am inside and outside of the classroom, and I'm grateful for that. I was talking to a group of students this week about this honor. They've been my biggest cheerleaders and threatened to bring a student section here tonight. But I told them, I said, I do what I do for you and because of you. And I hope this is clear to everybody who I interact with, who talks with me about my job. And I pray that as long as God allows me to be in the classroom, that remains my focus, that my students are why I do what I do. Thank you.
We proudly recognize District 6 Elementary Teacher of the Year, Erica Rutherford, from Coleman City Primary School in the Coleman City School System.
I'm short. What an honor and a privilege it is to stand here today and represent Coleman City Schools and my Coleman City Primary School family and my little elephant class. I teach kindergarten. And I just wanted to share with you a story that really solidified to me why I was a teacher. My first year teaching, I went to a Christmas play. It was actually my second year teaching, and a little boy was in first grade. He had been in my first class, and he read a story from the Bible. And his aunt came up to me afterwards, and she said, "Thank you for teaching Jake to read." And, you were talking about a ripple effect earlier, and I thought, what better example of a ripple effect? You can teach a child to read and look at the impact that makes on their entire life, on their learning, and on their family. And every year around this time, I have former students come back and give me hugs and love, and I get to see what grade they're in and what they're learning and what they're doing, and just what an amazing ripple effect to make on lives. And I look at all of these amazing teachers behind me and think of all the amazing ripple effects that are going out across our state, and I'm just so thankful to stand alongside all of you today. So thank you so much for this honor.
Representing District 7 Secondary Teacher of the Year, Melissa Chandler, Shades Valley High School, Jefferson County School System.
Good afternoon to everyone. When I was given the task this afternoon to speak for a minute, I think I'm the one who really likes to talk, but all of a sudden I kind of froze up. But I'm here. I'm grateful. First of all, I want to thank God for the divine assignment that was placed upon my life to change lives. I'll give you my story real quick. When I matriculated from high school to Miles College, I had the plan, it was my plan to go major in biology and to go to med school. But lo and behold, me, like some others, maybe you all, when I graduated from undergrad, I was broke. So I went and taught. In my mind, I was teaching for a year, I'm gonna save my coins, going to med school. It was my first year teaching at Selma High School where God spoke to me. And that was Jeremiah 29:11, where I know the plans I have for you, to prosper, not to harm you, but to give you hope and a future. And today I see that future. I see why I am where I am. My mother is here, and my mother and I share a very, very, very special connection. Mom, stand up real quick. My mom and I were in school for education at the same time. And she's my biggest inspiration. That's my mom. My mom was the one that showed me, she instilled in me the qualities that a teacher should have. And little did I know, now I can see it, the patience, the passion, the concern. Patience was the biggest thing. But I love you, Mom, and I thank you for helping me along the way. You didn't know those late nights that I called you and wanted advice and I cried to you. Honey, I was really suffering and I wanted to give up, but God, He kept me. And I really thank you for that. To my principal who's here, Dr. Marsh,
Dr. Marsh, I thank you for challenging me to maximize my potential. That's a saying that he gives our students every morning. And he's such an inspiration because he came into Shays Valley and he has made a tremendous impact, and I thank you for supporting me. To my colleagues, you guys are my coaches. And on the days that I wanted to give up, the little encouragement that you gave me helped to push me along the way, and I thank God for you guys, and I pray that God continues to bless you in this profession. And last but not least, before I sit down, I want to challenge these eminent educators up here on the stage today. You know, it's one thing to go to work every day to teach, but it's a total different level to go to work every day and change lives. So as you guys travel to work each morning, think about why. What's your why? And if your why isn't to impact, help, or change someone else along the way, as an old principal said to me, you need to find your happy place. Thank you so much. I thank you guys for your support. Continue to uplift us in education. It's not hard, but I really thank you guys for everything, and I thank you for giving me the opportunity to stand before you today. Thank you.
We proudly introduce District 7 Elementary Teacher of the Year, Amy Anderson, from Crestline Elementary School in the Mecklenburg City School System.
I'm trying not to cry. It's just such an honor to be up here. I really had a hard time thinking about this as a competition. It's really just a family of educators, and I'm just so thankful for the time that I spent in Mobile County and Auburn City and now Mount Brook City with just amazing people that push and challenge me to be better. Thankful for my parents who knew how important a good education was, and for raising me to try to be a godly person. For my husband, who may have a harder job than they did, putting up with me coming home nightly with papers to grade and ideas to throw past him, and he spent several hours in my classroom helping me with some of those crazy ideas as well. But also for a culture and a community at Crestline that's inspired by my principal, my reading coach, people that I work with, to just feel free to take risks and make a few mistakes, because even from some of those mistakes have come just some glorious successes. For those of you who don't know, I teach STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. And that's a challenge for some of our students. And a lot of our girls are underrepresented in those fields, and to see their excitement and how they developed as learners through that process has just been amazing. So again, just thank you so much for this honor. I'm just amazed to even be standing up here. There's so many people that have gotten me to where I am today, and I just have to pinch myself to even believe that I've made it this far. But thanks again for honoring me in this way. Appreciate it.
Representing District 8 Secondary Teacher of the Year, Thomasina Rose Garner, Liberty Middle School, Madison City School System.
This is probably going to be the quickest speech you have ever heard, because while I was sitting back there and they were speaking, I said, I was going to say that. I was going to say that. I was going to say that. I was going to say that too. So everything that they have said, put that together, and that is my speech. But seriously, I just want to thank God. And thank you for laughing. My kids once told me that I should probably be a comedian. But I thank God for this experience. It's been so much fun. I've been pushed out of my comfort zone. This was a fun but a very, very, very scary process, especially right now having to speak. This is very, very scary. But I'm so thankful. I'm thankful for my parents that are here today. They were both educators, and growing up at the holiday dinners, they would always talk about education. I never had anything to talk about, so now I have something to contribute. I want to thank my school system, my superintendent, my former superintendent, Dr. Fowler, my principal, my students. One of the biggest things that always gets me is when a student comes back and says thank you. And my second set of 7th graders are graduating or just graduated from college. And I've had about 5 of them that have called and said, guess what, we're going to be teachers, thank you. And it's things like that that make me keep going. So, like, I know someone said it, I can't remember it, but you know, you got to have something that pushes you. And this is not a job, it is a career for people who love it. If you don't love it, that's not right. And I think that all of us up here love what we do. So I thank you for this opportunity. I thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Like I said, I might get on Facebook too. I'm not on it, but I just want to keep up with everybody. So again, thank you for this experience.
And it is a great honor to introduce District 8 Elementary Teacher of the Year, Mary Tate, from Mount Carmel Elementary School in the Madison County School System.
Now, unlike her, I have no problem talking. When I was called and said, now you know you need to talk, I went, what? Oh, yes, I can do this. I did write my cards down because I want to take a little different direction. I first want to thank my God, the Father who led me to this, who made it happen, and who helped me be what I need to be for these children. And to my husband, who when I was in my junior year as a mother of 2 intermediate kids who had no car and a lot of social life, and I was standing at the dishes having a meltdown because I was like, what in the world possessed me to think I could do this? And he said, you are not quitting now. I have washed too many dishes. He is my heart and soul. He is the wallet when I want to spend it. He is the happy face when I come home and I have adopted 4 children that just need it. He is my love and my heart for these kids. Because he knows I'm here for these kids. But I want to take just a little different direction, and I want to thank every educator in this room as the student. I want to be the student for just a minute. I am that child from that neighborhood that could have been left behind because illiterate parents who didn't come to any meetings, who didn't show up for anything. You can sit back down. I got stuff to say. Who could have written me off because I looked like that pitiful child. But I want to thank Mrs. Cobb in my 1st grade class. If you are a teacher here, find yourself in my teachers. Mrs. Cobb, who trusted this little ragtail child to go across the courtyard to the little glassed-in gym to get her glass bottle of Mountain Dew every morning, and it was a privilege. You sat straight so she'd pick you. She trusted me with her money and her glass bottle. For Miss Ashby, who read to me every day after lunch to teach me how good Sounder was, and Old Yeller, and all the classic literature. To Miss Carlisle, who left 100 multiplication tag problems on my desk every morning and said, I'm sorry, honey, it's bored, but it's life. Get over it. Go on. To Mr. Campbell, who convinced my overprotective mother to let me go on a field trip because he promised he'd take care of me. To Miss Hayes, who furnished biographies for me because I'd read all of them in our little library and I wanted some more. And she went and got them. To Miss Brownlee, who made geography jump off the page, and this little girl from nowhere, Alabama, knew there were places to go and people to see and things to do. And she made me believe I could go. To Miss King in the 9th grade, who gave me a 10,000-word essay, autobiography, and I made 100 on it, folks. And she didn't accuse me of cheating. She came and she whispered in my ear and she says, how is it that you talk like this and you write like that? And I said, honey, if I talked right, they'd beat me up in my neighborhood. And she looked me square in the face. She said, talk right anyway. She said, never hide your intelligence. Never hide. And I didn't. And to Mr. Jimmy Knight, who in the 10th grade refused to take my books when life got so hard, I was going to quit. I walked in like this sweet little responsible student, and I was going to quit because I didn't think I could go. And he cussed at me. Cursed is what's supposed to say. He cussed at me and threw my book across the call and said, mess in your own face if you want to, but I'm not going to help you. You got one or two choices. You can get over there and get that book and get back in here in a little while. And you can make this happen. Or you can leave out of this classroom and they win. And that neighborhood takes you with them. So I picked up my book and I tucked myself away. And I went back to class in a little bit, just like he said. And 2 years later on the graduation field, this big burly black man walked over and picked up this much smaller little white girl. And he wrapped me up and he laid me on his shoulder and he said, you win, baby. You win. To every educator in here, I was and am and will be in your class. Don't have pity on me. Look inside and take me somewhere. And that's what I do every day. I take those babies wherever and however far they can go. And I want to thank every teacher in my school for challenging me every day to be better, because I look around and I know I've got growing to do because they're better than me. And I am so humbled to be standing here. That little girl who could have been written off. And teachers looked at me and said, come along, baby, you matter. Folks, it matters what we do. And it matters every day. And it matters to the folks you least expect. Thank you.
Always my favorite part of the program is we get to hear from the 16 finalists. We get to hear their perspective and what they do. And I notice that it's always coupled with passion and love for their children. Because let's not forget, this is all about children. This is all about our future and our children. I was very fortunate to be able to travel around the state as teacher of the year and other things. I'm a theater teacher. There is. Our arts teachers. And I was fortunate enough to take a group that was performing a children's theater play, and we went to a little school, little elementary school in Pike County, so it's in South Alabama. And we drove, and we're in a field. Where's the school? And we kind of doesn't rise; it just kind of finally came into view with this school in the middle of the field. So we had this show ready to perform for the entire elementary school, and we got there a little early, and the principal said, "Okay, your kids can go to the gymnasium to get ready." And I said, "Oh, okay." So where's the gymnasium? And it turned out it was a trailer, a really bad trailer, torn up trailer. Well, we were there early, so we kind of looked in, and the teacher let me come in. She's young, ahead of me, right out of college, and she is in there doing a physical education lesson with these kids. Remarkable things. There's no equipment. The place is torn up. It's kind of decorated. But I was amazed at what she did with these kids and what they were doing and how they were responding. And afterwards, I said, what's going on? She said, well, I just started teaching. This was December, so she started in August. And she said, when I first got hired, I was kind of disappointed, more than disappointed. I was devastated by the facility. I was happy to have a job, but I almost quit because this was so bad. And then I went the first day, and I looked at the kids, and I realized those kids don't know we have no money. They realize we don't have any facility. They're here. They're ready. And so I've been ready every day. This is a little girl that, I don't know if she's being recognized or not, but this is who this represents. These teachers represent all of those teachers in Alabama that don't ever get an award, that reach all of those children. And without further ado, I would like to introduce some of our children. These are the best and the brightest from Booker T. Washington Manning High School. They are, can we go to that one? They're there. And they are from the musical theater. They're not there? They left. They're coming. They are from Musical Theater Magnet at Booker T. Washington High School under the direction of Kaylee Smith, who just is a first-year teacher this year. And so we're very excited. She was not teaching at Booker T. Washington at the beginning of the year, and she was doing kind of a part-time in Northeast Alabama. And I was with, coming? We're going to do the videos first. So we're going to do videos first. So, if we could, Charles, you ready? Okay. So what we're going to do now is see the videos of our 4 finalists. Could you stand? Our finalists, please. And now we will see the videos that they were made at their schools.
Getting into education was really quite by accident. I was home from college on Christmas break, and the school superintendent was in our church and happened to ask if I would be willing to sub in any of his schools. And I really wasn't interested in education, but I needed a job over Christmas break and loved it. And the first class I went into was a kindergarten class. And a little boy named Patrick entertained me all day long. I thought, I can't believe people get paid to do this. This is so fun. And I just had a great day. And the next day I was sent to a senior high class, which is a little bit different. And by the third day in a biology class, the honors biology class, I thought, wow, this is something I could really put my life to. This is really something I could spend my life doing, to connect my students to the outside world. I first have to realize that they do come from varied backgrounds, and I have students who take ski vacations in Colorado several times a year and who travel quite frequently. I have some students who never vacation, who never leave the city limits of our town. And so to me, I have to engage them both in what's going on in the world, and I have to challenge them both equally. I teach with some incredible teachers, and to be honored by being the school's Teacher of the Year was quite humbling. And then when it got to my school system, I thought, wow, I'm just humbled that I was put in a position in the district, and now, we're down to the Final Four. And I'm just truly humbled and honored to represent all the teachers who do such an incredible job each day. When my students leave my classroom, I want them to know that I cared. I care about them now, I care about them today, and I care about the future that they're going to have. The other day, one of my students said, "Who's your favorite?" And I said, "What?" And somebody else said, "We're all her favorite." And I thought, yes, that's what I want my children to know. I want them to know that 3 or 4 years from now, when I get an award, I care about that. I get wedding invitations, I get graduation invitations, I get notes and cards from former students. I have former students who are now teachers, and that is incredible. I want them to remember that this was a safe place, that I'm a support in their life, and that once I'm their teacher, they're always my kid. We have a unique opportunity to touch the future. We are teaching children and teenagers who will go on when they're no longer here. We have an opportunity to affect change in their lives, and I truly believe that when we believe in them, they'll believe in themselves. When we believe in their goals and their dreams, they believe in their goals and their dreams. Sometimes we get discouraged over what we don't have, but when the door closes and we have these precious souls with us, we have them with us, and we can affect change in their lives, and we can make the world a better place. We can make them better people. We can make families better. We can make communities better by affecting change in them and giving them hope. And so we do touch the future, and that's an awesome and incredible responsibility and privilege.
Education in nursing and never felt fulfilled in the clinical setting, and so on a whim I thought, well, maybe I would like to teach this because I had been tutoring on college campuses. And actually, to be quite honest, nobody encouraged me to do that. Nobody thought it was a good idea. And as a matter of fact, I tell everybody I thought my daddy was going to have a coronary when I said, hey, I'm leaving nursing and I'm going into education, because because my very first year teaching was before we had anything called emergency certification. So I started the 96-97 school year to fill in an extended medical leave, and I had no classroom. I had to float to different classrooms. I got no paycheck because I wasn't certified, and they didn't have the opportunity for that then. I coached 2 sports, volleyball and softball, and I didn't have a planning period because I had to be in the field during planning. So I always tell people that if I can survive that, I can survive the apocalypse, zombie apocalypse, whatever, trial by fire, and 20 years down the road, I have never regretted one day of it. Being selected as one of the finalists is really and truly not about me. This is about my students. Me being selected as one of the final 4, honestly, is exciting to me because it gives me the possibility and the potential to be their advocate, to be on the platform to push my ideas of what students need. I want every student in Alabama to have the opportunity to hear me say, I know your neurobiology. I can access that creativity. We can learn on that right hemisphere, and we can apply that to long-term learning. So I really do feel like it's honestly not about me, but it's about what I can do if selected for my students and the students of Alabama. So that is my focus, and that's going to remain my platform. Our kids come to us, and they are oftentimes hungry, and they're tired, and they need this motivation, but mostly that health and that vitality. So I always like to say to fellow teachers, you know what? You can Google anything I teach in terms of content. What you cannot Google, though, is passion, drive, ambition, motivation, and direction. I want my kids to grow up and leave me and say, I remember this, I remember that, I remember her. And as a matter of fact, I take great pride in knowing that as of right now, I have 13 former students who went into education, and they credit me with that motivation. And 5 of those are actually in my field, and 1 of those is actually now my coworker. So I want my students to catch on fire like I am. And I always say that normality is a paved road, and it's easy to walk on, but there's no flowers or beauty along that path. So I want them to remember my creativity, my passion, my zest, and my love for them.
I had to pay for, of course, I had to figure out a way to pay for college, and so I got a job as a tutor, and I got good feedback from the science students that I tutored that I was good at explaining complex topics so that they could understand them. And I always knew that I wanted to be in the service, some kind of service industry, and of course at that point in time I had a girlfriend who was in the education department. She became my wife, and she suggested that I consider education, and I did, and I loved it, and I've loved every minute of 32 years. I try to set the scene sometimes for things that I do. So in other words, we were doing a court case today that provides a pretty compelling question to answer that gets my students to use concepts. So they're not really memorizing things, but they are solving a real world problem, and it gets them a little more involved in what we're doing in science. I try to just incorporate things that I'm passionate about besides teaching, and so I love movies, and so a lot of times in order to critically think in my class, I will show segments of movies, and of course they're fully engaged when they're watching those segments, and those are probably pretty popular movies that they know about, and so they're kind of excited to see those things. You know, I really wish they would love biology as much as I do, but I know that's not necessarily going to be the case. What I want them to really leave with is a lot of the skills that will enable them to be the best students that they can be when they're in their next class. Well, you know, you kind of course, get a little proud of yourself, but I think really mostly for me, it's just very humbling because I know as I'm in this school that there are a lot of other great teachers. There are a lot of great teachers across my district. I've worked a lot out there in the state of Alabama, and I've seen lots of great teachers too, and actually even across the nation. So I know I'm just one of many teachers, and so my thing is I just want to be an advocate for them, for those teachers. my platform is recruitment and retention of teachers, and definitely I want to be able to get those unsung teacher stories out there. You know, those teachers that nobody really pays attention to. I want people to know that what we do is important, it's necessary, and it's hard work learning, and it's sometimes a struggle, but every now and then you hit those really magical days when you leave school and you're a little taller, and it makes you come back that next day and just really enjoy the work that you do.
When I was in 5th grade, I fell in love with science. My 5th grade teacher made me do a science project, and my dad helped me build a plankton net out of some pantyhose. And I would go across the bay every day and scoop up a cup full of water of plankton. And this was before SpongeBob, so everybody didn't know what plankton was back then. And I had a little microscope from TGNY, and me and my dad would put the plankton underneath that microscope, and I could not believe that I saw all these little creatures that were alive when I looked at it under the microscope. So from that point on, I was fascinated with science. So I knew I wanted to have a career in science. So I actually went to college to become a nurse. But while I was in college, I worked at a daycare to make some money to pay for food and housing and things like that. I fell in love knowing that I could influence children, because every day those little 4- and 5-year-olds loved coming to preschool with me, and I saw that, and their parents told me things that they had overcome because I had worked with them. And at that point, I realized that, wow, being a teacher gives you the ability to change somebody else's life for the better. Science is naturally connected to the world around us. We're learning about what makes day and what makes night. We're learning about, when we're doing environmental science, we're learning about cleaning up an oil spill, so you actually have a scenario at your tables where you have an oil spill and you guys have to clean it up. So all the things that we learn in class are relevant to our everyday lives.
What do you want your students to remember most about when they leave your classroom?
What I want you guys to remember the most is that I love you, and that you guys, y'all don't know that when I come to school, I love being here. Y'all do know that. I think y'all do know that. This is my break. This is not a job for me. This is my break from having to change diapers and clean up the house and do laundry. This is my favorite place to be. And I want you guys to remember that learning is fun, and that you have a purpose in life, and I hope you find your purpose so that you will be as happy as I am right now when you get older. Being Teacher of the Year, it means that I have fulfilled my purpose in life, because I feel like one of the most important things that I'm supposed to do while I'm here is to influence children in a positive, loving way. And to me, it would be a piece of evidence that I've done what I want to do. When you chose to become a teacher, you are taking on a big responsibility that you can influence children for the rest of their lives. For the rest of their lives, kids are going to remember you, good or bad. And so not only set the expectations high for your students, but to set them even higher for you, the teacher.
That's hardware. Now we're in the right order. I thank you, Charles, for going out and getting all those. Shane did it. Shane, where's Shane? Shane, look at Shane in the back. Shane is with the State Department of Education. It's a remarkable snapshot of very complicated people. And now, I would like to introduce some students from Booker T. Washington Magnet School. They're with the Musical Theater Magnet under the direction of Kaylee Smith, a first-year teacher who's a dear friend of mine, and I'm very, very pleased that she's there now with Ann Stark's daughter, Quasia Starks, who's the principal there. So here they are. Come on in, Kay. group of kids. The first day of school at Booker T. Washington, these are really remarkable kids, and I've had the opportunity to come into the school and teach a bunch, because that's my field. And the first day of school, the teacher texted Miss Starks and said, or Dr. Starks, and said, yeah, I'm not going to be here. I've got a job and I'm not even in the state anymore. So they were left without a teacher. So until she could get somebody in, people came in. I had the fortune to come in and teach these kids. And you'd think they would be devastated and upset, and they were happy. Now they were concerned, but they were teaching themselves. They were working amongst themselves so it's so wonderful to see them now with a guide, with a wonderful teacher that helps them. You can see them more focused. They're a wonderful group of kids. So anyway, now I would like to invite Mr. Simmons to come up again and make a special introduction.
Thank you, Roy. First, I want to acknowledge all the teachers here and thank them for sharing their stories of their commitment to children. Those were moving stories about passion and love, and those are things that you may not always hear about teachers, but we all understand that when you have great teachers, that's the driving force, is the commitment to children and the love for the possibilities in life. So thank you for sharing those stories, and thank you for all the work that you do. It is now my distinct honor and privilege to introduce our next speaker, who's going to announce the Teacher of the Year. A lot of states like to talk about, a lot of state governors love to talk about that they're an education governor. Well, we in Alabama are very fortunate to have an education governor, someone who during the course of her career has demonstrated a profound commitment to higher education, to STEM education, to K-12 initiatives, someone who started out as a high school teacher, so who deeply understands the issues and the challenges in classrooms. So without going too much further, it's my privilege to introduce Governor Kay.
Thank you so much. It is my pleasure to be with you tonight as we celebrate the very best teachers our state has to offer. As a former high school teacher, I clearly understand and know the dedication, hard work, and commitment that is required of one to make oneself an effective teacher. In my high school growing up, one of the people that had a great deal of influence on me was my English teacher in the 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, B.W. Dickey. He'd been a paratrooper, I think, in Korea. Had flat feet, wore khaki pants and an open white shirt, and that was his daily dress. But he taught us English, grammar, and composition. He had an unusual way of instructing us. It was hands-on all the way. And he had a standing contract, or a standing offer, for a contract with all the universities' English department anytime he wanted to take it. But being from Lowndes County, he chose to stay in Wilcox County, my home county, and teach us in the 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, English and composition. When I went to Auburn and took English in my freshman year, I was one of 2 students who made an A in freshman English at Auburn University. Now, that was a unique feat, evidently, but that success gave me all the confidence in the world that a little child who had 35 folks in our high school graduating class from Camden, Alabama, who'd never been to the big cities much, marched in Mardi Gras in Mobile and came to Girls State at Huntington College, but beyond that. But that gave me all the confidence in the world to pursue with a passion my college career, and I reckon the rest is history. Our children are our future. Our teachers mold our children and thus our future. Your task is great and noble. The people of Alabama are in your debt. continue to bless each of you and our great state. And now for the moment you've all been waiting for.
We have the Bibles, please come down to the front.
The 2017-2018 alternate state of the year is Paul McQuan, Hoover High School, State School Board District Number 3. The 2017-2018 Alabama Teacher of the Year is Chasity Collier.
First and foremost, I want to thank God. I believe that God does not call the qualified. He qualifies the called. And you can tell from everyone's story that we have one thing in common. No matter if we taught high school or elementary school, art, music, we all had one thing in common, and that is that it wasn't about the content. We were all teaching with passion and enthusiasm and with love. And the greatest gift of these is love. And so these kids, if we teach them with love, they can get the content. But they have to know that we love them first, and then everything else is possible. I want to thank my family, my parents. They're not here with us tonight because they are watching my children. You should be very thankful that they're here. To my wonderful husband, who, no matter what time of night it is, he is really good at running to Walmart at 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock when I realize that I need honey or an air pump or, God knows what, teaching science in the middle of the night. He is always willing to go get that for me. My wonderful boss, Michelle McClung, she is a leader. We can't do what we do if we don't have an awesome person who pushes us and encourages us and supports us in all that we do. And this lady right here, she fights for me and educators like you every day. And so I'm very thankful for you. Another person who's influenced my life greatly is a lady named Shelly Ryder. She's influenced me a lot to teach with love. That comes first. And I just can't wait to rise to the occasion, to be a person to let the world know that Alabama has some great things going on. Just think about how many kids, if we could count how many kids' lives we've changed just between all of us up here. It's amazing, and we got great things fixing to happen in the future. So I'm humbled and I'm honored, and I thank all of you very much.
If she doesn't get to go, we have some presentation. Scottish Rite is one of our big sponsors, so I would like to ask Mr. Buttram to come to the stage, please. Here you are.
How honored I am to be in his presence tonight. Mr. Simmons, may I tell you something, please? I nearly had to catch my breath when I came into the room and saw you for the first time. My principal in grammar school was a man named J.L. Walker. And he took a child with all E's on his report card except one F. And it worked out a way for him to go to Inslee High School by shoveling dirt all summer. And you reminded me of him so much. By the way, Inslee High School class of 61, we had our 56th gathering last Saturday. Tonight I'm here. Tomorrow night, Jack State for the Teacher Hall of Fame, and I do that because Alabama Scottish Rite believes in public education. And of course, we are the dyslexic in Alabama. We have recently tested our 7,700 child for dyslexia. But I have a pleasure tonight to give you this check because you were your way. And if you see fit, and I know you're going to need that and a lot more, and you go all over this country representing Alabama, and I know you will do that.
I would also like to invite Dan Chappell from Interior Elements. There you go, Dan.
That's my brother. I'm Ben Chappell. This is the brainchild of Dan, my brother, who handles all of our K-12 business in the state of Alabama. I'm Ben Chappell with Interior Elements. We cover the entire Southeast, and K-12 is a huge vertical market of ours, and we supply contract furniture to primarily classroom-type settings, which is where we all know education really starts. And this has been a tearjerker of a presentation. This whole all of you speaking and hearing the passion and the emotion that all you guys have dedicated and watching your videos, it's absolutely just incredible. As a parent myself, I have 3 young children, and knowing that my children are in such exceptional hands with each of you, and you're in your own classrooms. There again, Socrates didn't have board offices. He didn't have admin offices. He had a classroom, and that's where he had an impact. And all the students he had made an impact on those around them. And I was so glad each of you talked about that, because whether you're in the private sector or the public sector, making an impact and doing things outside of the ordinary is what we're all in it for. So thank you, Chasity, and thank you to all of you for everything you've done. And we're so happy to be a small part of this presentation. Thank you all. Thank
you. If you don't know, what did you tell them?
I hear about all about us. So, as part of our sponsorship, we try to promote educational settings that are the most progressive and innovative in the market in our industry. And so, what we do as a part of this sponsorship, which was Dan, my brother's brainchild, was to sponsor a classroom for the teachers of the year. And so, Chasity will be the recipient of a contract furniture gift from Interior Elements. Until the next year, for 1 year, you'll have that room. And so we're excited about the classroom just for you.
You're in.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And Dad is about to get one.
So thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. That concludes this portion of the evening, which has been a wonderful, wonderful night. I want to thank the State School Board for being here. Mr. Simmons is wonderful, and what a treat for us to have our Governor, Kay Ivey, here with us. Thank you so much for being here. I would like to tell the finalists that we have more things for you. If you will see Kay and Bill behind the screen, they're like the Wizard of Oz. Back there with all kinds of things for you, little plaques and stuff. But I really, again, thank you so much for being here tonight. Thanks for celebrating education. Alabama has such a wonderful, wonderful group of educators and students and people who support us. So thank you for being here this evening.